was finally free of the god of war. But at a disastrous cost. Sanity. With the death of the Furies and the Oathkeeper, my immortal tie to Ares was severed. But the moment Orcos breathed his last, a curse took hold, and my mind was seized by madness. Every single misdeed I had ever committed flooded my mind in perfect clarity. Lysandra and Calliope more than any other, and I could not take it. It broke me. A life of warmongering, butchery, and conquest, and all the death that had came of it. This curse used it as a weapon and pierced my mind. This curse was a mental assault that left my heart and mind gravely wounded, and from then on, they would only continue to bleed. Every slumber was plagued with the most real and vivid nightmares.
You are my enemies, and my life is yours!
And I would awake every day having relived my most terrible sins.
Burn this village! Burn it to the ground!
Every night I killed them again. And again. And again. As well as these unnaturally real night terrors, every waking moment was plagued with madness. The hope I had found in breaking my oath vanished. I existed only to be tormented by my own mind. In my attempt to break free from my past, I had condemned myself to be imprisoned by it. There was no hope. Only complete madness awaited me. And then, the gods reached out. The Furies had been plotting with Ares to overthrow Olympus. In killing them, I had done the gods a service and earned their attention. They had seen my strength and skill, how I had slain so many beasts, and they knew something I would not for many years yet. My true nature. They made me an offer. I was to serve them, to slay terrible creatures that plagued their lands, to fight in their battles when called upon. In return, I would be forgiven for my past sins and freed of the madness and nightmares that afflicted me. Perhaps deep down, I hoped it may prove a chance to atone for the misery and destruction I had wrought over the years. For the gods of Olympus, I slayed Gorgons, Minotaurs, and Wraiths. I fought to defend Greece from her enemies and invading armies. I became the reluctant champion of the gods. I served them for years, but the gods did not fulfill their promise. No matter how many deeds I did in their name, or how many evils I put an end to, they did not lift the curse, and kept me in their service. The balance of my mind only tipped further into anguish, and the deep hatred I carried for myself was left to rot. After 5 years of this torture, I was at the edge, and something would happen that would push me over it. My past would soon return to haunt me through more than visions and memories. The Battle of Attica. The Persian army had invaded, raining fire from the seas, and they had unleashed a basilisk on the city. The gods called upon me, and I turned the tide of the battle in Attica's favor, and hunted down the Persian king.
Olympus has sent a message, and I am here to deliver it.
In this arrogant brute who sought only might and glory, I perhaps saw my old self. The merciless nature of his death, then, was a measure of my fragile state of mind. I then took down his beast that was tearing its way through the city. Even this proved little challenge. And I had had enough. Battling such evil was my only distraction from my own. But distraction no longer satisfied me. I craved a task that the gods would deem worthy of reward, that would remind them of their promise.
Is this all you would have me do? Is there nothing else?
As if to answer my frustrated challenge, the sun itself fell down to the earth. I went on to investigate and had to battle through a powerful black fog. It was unnatural. And from beyond it, I was stalked by a haunting melody that seemed somehow familiar. I found Helios's sun chariot, the great temple that he and his fire steeds used to pull the very sun through the air. And it was a smoldering ruin. I entered it, and Athena, the goddess of wisdom, pleaded for my aid.
Kratos, there is not much time. Olympus needs you.
I grow tired of the gods' request, Athena. I have given enough. Now take these nightmares from my head.
You will earn your freedom in time. The god of the sun has been torn from the sky. And without Helios, there is no one to keep Morpheus from seizing permanent power. Many of the gods have fallen to a deep slumber.
Another desperate and weary call for release, another false promise in return, and another ordeal to complete for the gods. The Titans, the ancient enemies of the gods, whose war with them had forged the landscape of the mortal world. The Titans had lost that war and been imprisoned in the underworld. As I fought through the hordes of Morpheus to revive the fire steeds that would take me to their master Helios, I would find that it was one of these very Titans, Atlas, who was responsible. And I was still followed by the ghostly longing sound of that flute. I also came across Eos, sister of Helios and goddess of dawn, another tiresome reminder of the limbo the gods kept me in.
All glory be to Lord Zeus for granting you safe passage to me.
The king of the gods does not aid me, Eos. I am but a slave to Zeus and Olympus.
Save my brother Kratos, and he will convince Zeus to release you and rid you of the horrors of your past.
The gods have broken their word to me many times. Forgive me if I find it hard to believe your promises.
The gods' endless false promises had left me weary and jaded. Yet still I served them, because it was my only path. Deep in my heart, the faintest of hope still lingered, but was clouded by impatience and indifference. Finally, I restored the fire steeds and returned to them so they could take me to Helios. And as I did, I at last recognized why the sound of the flute haunted me so.
Calliope. My daughter, where are you? Calliope!
I did not know if it was some trick, or if my mind had finally broken completely. But even the faintest hope of seeing Calliope again was at last something to cling to beyond the empty promises of the gods. If she was somehow here, if she was somehow being used against me, I had to find her. The reawakened fire steeds took me down to the underworld. As beings of light, they could not dwell there, and so could not take me directly to Helios. But once I had made it to Hades, I did not need them to see where the sun god was being held. To get to this tower, I needed to cross the river Styx, which meant I was at the mercy of Charon, the ferryman of the underworld, who would sail the souls of the dead across the Styx to their final resting place.
Ghost of Sparta, slave to the Olympians. I am a slave to no one, Charon. We share a common fate, Kratos. The gods will release neither of us from our torture. Be gone!
If I only knew how right he was. He proved powerful and denied me passage, sending me to the pits of Tartarus.
Ghost of Sparta!
It was here I saw the Titans imprisoned, and Atlas's chains empty, confirming what Eos had told me.
Who will release such evil?
A question that could be asked of many of my own past deeds and deeds yet to come. I still had concern for evil at this time, a quality that I was doomed to soon lose. I returned to Charon.
You again.
The walls of Tartarus would not hold Atlas, and they would not hold me either.
Since he only mocked me for my service to Olympus and tried to kill me, I was forced to take his ferry from him. And down the river of the dead, it took me to the temple of Persephone, queen of the underworld. As I approached the dock, Calliope's flute again called to me. And this time,
Calliope!
the fog of despair that surrounded me suddenly cleared. She was a spirit, confined there in the world of the dead, and the ashes of her physical body still adorned my skin. But it was her. I had served the gods for 5 years to escape the madness wrought by the horrors of my past, to escape the memories that tormented me. All I wanted was redemption, freedom to start anew, freedom the gods refused to grant. But now, beyond all reasonable hope, a new path was before me, not to the past that tortured me, but the past I had longed for.
Calliope!
I found myself in the garden of Persephone's temple,
Calliope! Calliope, where are you?
where only Persephone awaited.
Where is my daughter, witch?
Choose your words carefully, Ghost of Sparta. You address the goddess of the underworld. Your daughter is well. She lives among the pure souls in the Elysian fields.
Lead me to her.
Have you forgotten, Kratos? The Olympians need you.
I have faithfully served the gods, yet they do not give me what I ask. I grow weary of their demands.
The gods on Olympus failed me too, Kratos. I was betrayed by Zeus and tricked by my husband Hades. Now I am to stay in the underworld as queen of the dead.
Persephone! I demand to see my daughter!
As you wish. But be warned, Ghost of Sparta. The world of man will suffer because of your choice.
I care little for the world and its suffering! Where is she?
If you are to see your daughter again, you must become worthy of Elysium. Cast your weapons at the Forsaken Tree, and let it release the evils of your past. Only then will you be free of your sins, and be granted passage through the divine gates.
Be with Calliope again, and at last banish the ceaseless torment of my memories, but allow Greece to fall. It sounds an impossible choice, but it was an easy one. But the neglect of the gods had left me jaded and weary, so weary. Their world, which gave me nothing but pain and illness of mind, was no longer my concern. The gods who for 5 years had refused to grant me wellness could slumber forever. Only Calliope mattered.
You have done well, Kratos. Walk through the portal and find the one you seek.
At last, peace.
Calliope!
Father?
My child,
Why did you go?
I am here now, child. And I will not leave you again.
Serving yourself before the needs of others has always been your flaw. But no matter. For now you serve my purpose.
You?
As you were pathetically disarming yourself, Atlas completed the task I set him out to do. With the power of the sun in his hands, it is only a matter of time before he destroys the pillar that holds the world. I was betrayed by the very gods that once saw me as their own, but no more.
Father? What's happening? I'm scared.
In your selfish choice to be with your daughter, you have caused her ruin.
No.
Elysium falls too, Kratos. She will perish.
No! I will not let the gods take her from me again!
Father!
Again, I had found myself entangled in the schemes of the gods. And again, it was to cost my daughter. To be with her, I had surrendered my power to defend her. And now Greece, Olympus, and the underworld were condemned to destruction, Calliope's very soul with them. To save her, I would need to surrender the humanity I had only just reclaimed. I would need to become the ghost of Sparta once more. And to do that, I would have to push her away forever.
Father, please! Please! Father! Father, no!
To regain my weapons and my power, I would need to claim the life force of the innocent souls of Elysium. And Calliope had to watch on and see me for the monster I was. Soul by soul, I regained my strength, my rage, and the accursed blades of chaos. I was forced to betray my own daughter, to leave her with only fear and hatred of her monstrous father, the ghost of Sparta.
No! Father, no!
Persephone had used Calliope as a pawn. She had endangered her soul. And now my own daughter had witnessed the savage weapon I had become, and been left with her own nightmares. 5 years of scorn and suffering turned to fury. I was already weary of the gods, and this witch's cruel manipulation was my final provocation. Goddess or not, Persephone would pay. I clung to her as she flew to the top of the world pillar, which Atlas was destroying. At the time, I thought myself entirely mortal. Taking on a goddess and a titan to any other would have been a fool's death. But I, empowered by a father's rage and driven into a mad frenzy, was single-minded on revenge.
Atlas!
The punishment of Atlas, the titan condemned to forever hold up the very world of Greece, is well known. But what many do not know is that it was I who sealed his fate. He had destroyed the pillar that held the land, and in my fury, I made him take its place.
No! Stop me!
And then turned my wrath to the goddess of the underworld.
Your suffering will never end, Ghost of Sparta.
Perhaps you believe the Olympians will help you. But I ask, where are your gods now, Kratos? Why do they not come to your aid? I do not need the aid of the gods! But my path is now clear to me. I will serve them! And they will keep their promise to free me from my past! What good is the promise of an Olympian? It is all I have, Atlas!
It is all I have. Perhaps the truest words I had yet spoken, and equally the most painful. I had forsaken Calliope, and it had been an agonizing reminder that, however many years of servitude to Olympus were ahead of me, they were my only hope, my only purpose. I returned Helios and the sun chariot to the skies. An empty victory. All I could think of was Calliope. But but she must have thought of her wicked, destructive father as she remained in Elysium, now forever out of my reach. Her cries of anguish haunted me, and they still do. Exhausted from my battle in the power of the sun chariot, I fell down to Olympus below me. The gods reclaimed their weapons and left me there. And when I awoke, I did so at my most monstrous yet. But it was not this lack of gratitude that stirred me. Persephone's scheme had been the end of the fracturing of my mind, my breaking point. With Calliope, I had pushed my humanity away, as I was forced to continue to serve the gods that I resented, and still denied their aid. My methods would become more ruthless, my mind ever more disfigured. Not even the innocent in the ghost of Sparta's wake would be spared.